The ending of Obsession left fans with more questions than answers. Naturally, everyone expected the sequel to continue Nikki's story. But recent comments from director Curry Barker suggest that Obsession 2 may not be as straightforward as many fans imagined. Instead of following a traditional sequel, the franchise could take a completely different direction while still expanding the terrifying world established in the first film. So today, let's break down what Curry Barker has revealed about Obsession 2's plot and whether we're getting a direct sequel or something much bigger. Plot details. The story direction of Obsession 2 is still being carefully shaped, but early details suggest the sequel will dig much deeper into the supernatural rules and emotional consequences introduced in the first film. The sequel is expected to expand the mythology behind the obsession phenomenon, exploring where it comes from, how it spreads, and why certain people are more vulnerable to it than others. Instead of just focusing on surface-level horror, the story may push into psychological territory, showing how obsession slowly distorts perception, memory, and reality itself. Reports also suggest that Nikki's journey could evolve in a darker direction, where her connection to the supernatural force becomes more complex and possibly more dangerous than before. At the same time, the expansion of the universe through anything but ghosts may directly tie into the sequel's events, meaning Obsession 2 could feel like a turning point for the entire franchise's mythology. This makes the sequel not just a continuation, but a deeper exploration of how far the horror universe is willing to go. Do you think the sequel should focus more on psychological horror or supernatural explanations? Would you prefer deeper lore or more mystery? And how far should the story go in revealing the truth behind Obsession? Anthology versus direct sequel. One of the biggest creative debates around Obsession 2 is whether it should continue as a direct sequel or shift into something more experimental. Director Curry Barker has teased the idea that Obsession might expand beyond a traditional linear storyline, potentially becoming an anthology-style franchise instead of a single continuing narrative. This means instead of following the same characters, each film could focus on new people facing different supernatural horrors connected by the same universe. While this approach could keep the franchise fresh and unpredictable, it also risks breaking the emotional continuity that made the original film so impactful. A direct sequel would allow deeper character development and stronger connection to Nikki's story, while an anthology structure would open the door for endless horror possibilities across different settings and characters. Which version would you prefer? A direct continuation or an anthology horror universe? And do you think changing structure helps or hurts the franchise? Inde Navarrette returns. Nikki, played by Inde Navarrette, played a key emotional role in the first Obsession film, helping ground the supernatural horror with human fear and vulnerability. Because of that, many fans expect her to return in Obsession 2. But current development hints suggest the sequel may not stay focused on a single main character. Instead, the story could shift into multiple perspectives or even a broader anthology structure, where different people experience the same supernatural force in different ways. This creates a major storytelling challenge, because removing Nikki as the emotional center could weaken audience connection, but keeping her as the only focus could limit the expansion of the universe. Her role now sits at the center of a major creative decision that could define the identity of the entire franchise moving forward. Do you think Nikki should stay the central character? Would multiple storylines make the sequel stronger, or does the emotional weight depend entirely on her journey? Whether Obsession 2 continues Nikki's story or introduces an entirely new nightmare, one thing is clear: the franchise is only getting started. Curry Barker seems focused on expanding the world of Obsession without repeating what made the first film so special. And if the next chapter is anything like the original, fans can expect another disturbing story that stays with them long after the credits roll.